Alright, so welcome back. Today, I'm actually using my vlogging setup, which is hilarious because normally I have all these tripods around here and I have my Ninja, Adamus Ninja on top. But now what I have is the Samyang 18mm 2.8 lens, wide angle lens, and I have the U-Rig mirror on top of the A7 III with the Rode Micro mic plugged in. Just curious to see what this looks like. I just figured since I was in the studio today, I would actually just try it here, and then my next time I go out with this same setup, it's going to be to vlog. So tell me what you think about how it looks. But jumping right into the topic of today's video, we're going to talk about my 1 year with the Lenovo X1 Extreme, and this is the Gen 1. So time went by really, really fast with this thing, and I can tell you it's a testament to how good it is because it never missed a beat. Frankly, I was really shocked that once the warranty expired, that I had already had that much time with this laptop. What I'll do is I'll break this down by likes and dislikes. I'll jump right into the likes first because there's a lot to like about it. First off, it's very powerful, and that's the main reason why I purchased it. I wanted something that was going to do some smooth video rendering for 4K footage, and then also editing as well. And I've used Power Director as well as Premiere, and they work flawlessly. It was easy for me to upgrade it. Granted, when I bought it, I made it a point, and I usually make it a point not to buy all the upgrades that are sold through the manufacturer because I can do it a lot cheaper myself. So the great thing about owning a ThinkPad is they almost encourage that because they give you the manuals that show you how to change things out, and then also to be able to take panels off to access the material that you need to. It's fairly simple to do. One of the other things I love about it is its low-key looks. I mean, if you look at it, it's just flat black, very thin, nondescript. I mean, yes, you can tell it's Lenovo. You can tell it's a ThinkPad because on the very back you've got that right there, and that's really about it. And I love that. I like the fact that it's just really classy, really professional, great build quality, and and I would also say that considering how small it is and the GPU that's in it and the CPU that's in it, I get decent battery life. Generally, I get around 5 hours unplugged, and that of course definitely goes down in the event that I start doing more intensive tasks and I start ramping up the performance on the CPU, GPU. Then yes, it's gonna burn through it fairly quickly. But like I said, on average about 5 hours, and actually I could probably get more than 5 hours if I turn some of the settings down. Next thing I will cover is the keyboard, but really I think ThinkPads are renowned for great keyboards. If I had to choose, out of all my ThinkPads, the one that I think is my favorite, it's not the one on the stand, but it's, where is it at? It's actually inside of the case there, or the furniture rather, was the X60S because it has the chiclet style keyboard, which is an old school thing, love it. But this would probably be my second favorite. I would say this and the T430, and then the X250 would be behind it. But this is a really good keyboard, especially considering how much real estate you have. Very comfortable for me to type on, work on all day with no fatigue. The screen. So we're going to talk more about the screen later. But what I purchased when I bought this, I got the 1080 screen versus the 4K because I wanted the improved or the increased battery life. And I've been happy with it. And keep in mind, the screen this size, I don't really need 4K. Even for video stuff, I have a larger screen I can hook this stuff up to if I really need to either pixel peep or look at the footage that I'm trying to edit. So it's an easy workaround. I just basically plug in HDMI. But this screen I really like. And I think it's really colorful. I think it does well enough outside. I think the nits are adequate for what it actually is. Next thing I'll talk about is reliability. We talked about this towards the beginning, but the fact that I have not had any issues, even with the upgrades. That's my number one concern when I upgrade something is if it breaks something or it causes some problems. Even though Lenovo encouraged certain upgrades, it's like, well, I still got to go through the hassle of maybe sending it back to them if I can't sort it. Or maybe it's something I can sort, but I don't necessarily want to because I didn't want to avoid the warranty. But I haven't had any problems. Oh, let me see. Sun's starting to go down, so let me hustle up here. The only issue we'll talk about when I get into the dislikes and then the upgrades. We already talked about that. They're really cheap, and they're only getting cheaper. So I think it made a really big difference, especially with the memory upgrade and the SSD. So just having the additional scratch disk has been awesome. So moving into the dislikes, the number one would be the issue with it not powering down all the way. And I have a video about this, but it's hard to ding the laptop because from what I can tell so far, it seems like it's a Windows 10 thing and not a Lenovo thing, but it still does it. Once again, it's an easy fix. Just power cycle it once it finishes the update and restart. So not a big deal. It does get pretty warm in your lap because of all the stuff that's being run on the inside. So the processor, the power, the GPU, and a frame that's this small, it dissipates heat well, but the heat has to go somewhere. And generally, if you hold it in your lap and you're running full performance, it's going to get hot. A tad uncomfortable. Speakers, not as loud as I would like them to be, but once again, this is like a 3-pound laptop. Your ports are underneath. So the way that it's set up, depending on what it's sitting on, it may muffle the sound. I normally use headphones anyway, so that's not really that big of a deal to me. And that's really it for my dislikes. As far as next steps, because finally my warranty has expired. I don't buy extended warranties on laptops because I like doing things with my laptops. Modifications, tinkering, upgrades, fixing it myself. I generally just wait for the warranty to expire because, once again, I don't want to buy something and it breaks and it's under warranty and I don't take advantage of it. Or I cause an issue where then they're like, well, it's your fault. You need to fix it. But now that this thing is past its warranty period, I can start digging into it. So I've been doing a little research just to see what I can upgrade. One of the things that I'm considering, even though I did not buy the 4K and I don't necessarily think I need the 4K screen, I've priced the parts to upgrade this 1080 screen to a 4K screen, and it's actually pretty affordable. So I think that might be the next thing I do, as well as maxing out the memory. I have a 32 gigs of RAM in here, and I'm probably gonna go to 64 gigs. But it's funny because I remember when I bought this thing, I found in two different places that one place was saying that the motherboard would support up to 128 gigs. So I need to figure that out because if it can go up to 128, I'll probably just go up to 128. And then the other thing is the Wi-Fi 6 card. This is another one that the motherboard was literally all over the place, whether it supports Wi-Fi 6 or it doesn't. Not really a big deal. That one would be the last one, but definitely the screen and the memory. And then I'll consider the Wi-Fi 6 thing. I just picked up another router and it supports it. So I'd be curious to see, what kind of performance increase I would get. My understanding is it's not going to be any faster. All it does is just, it uses, I think, more frequencies. Like it's like frequency hopping. So it mitigates the impact of everybody being on that same either 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz frequency. So that supposedly is the only advantage. But the Wi-Fi 6 card is extremely cheap. I think I priced one for like $20 or maybe less than that. So, why not? Worst case scenario, if I buy it, put it in, doesn't work, so be it. Send it back. Let's see. I think that's about it. So if you have any questions, comments, feel free, leave them in the comment section about the X1 Extreme Gen 1. I know a little bit about the Gen 2, so feel free. These are very, very similar laptops. You can leave some questions and comments about that as well. But otherwise, I think that's about it. So Agent Fit signing out.